Sony just announced the brand new PS5 Pro, a new and improved console with better graphics, increased performance, and also a huge increase in the price. And in this video, we're going to break down everything that you need to know about the brand new PS5 Pro and if you should actually purchase one. Not only does the brand new PlayStation 5 Pro bring new specifications in the hardware department, it also brings software improvements and support for all the games via PS5 Pro Game Boost. This can be applied to more than 8,500 backwards compatibility PS4 games that are going to be playable on the PS5 Pro, and this both stabilizes and improves the performance of the supported PS4 and PS5 games for enhanced image quality and also FPS boosts on those titles. And this is thanks to the brand new GPU, or rather the larger GPU as they called it in the press conference. This is a much larger chip that has 67% more compute units than the current PS5 consoles and 28% faster memory. This overall results in a 45% faster rendering of the gameplay, making the experience way smoother, and also the overall graphics fidelity can be higher. The biggest takeaway from the keynote presentation is the fact that most gamers are choosing performance mode over fidelity mode when they're given that option. Whenever you boot up a game, you can choose between performance or fidelity. 3/4 of players are choosing that performance mode to get the higher FPS and smoother gameplay. But of course, the whole point of a next-gen console is to have the better graphics, but most fidelity mode games are locked at 30 FPS, and we want to be playing at 60 FPS and higher, because that's where I've got our HDMI 2.1 4K displays. Well, thanks to this upgraded GPU, games can now run essentially in fidelity mode with those higher quality textures, but run at a minimum of 60 FPS. This was seen in a few different examples where it had the OG PS5 against the PS5 Pro, both in fidelity mode. The OG PS5 was locked at 30 FPS, and the new one on Last of Us, Spider-Man, or whatever the examples were, was running at 60 FPS and had the exact same caliber of graphics. It also went into detail and showed the difference between choosing performance mode and fidelity in a lot of titles and how much detail you lose in the distance on certain texture models and little assets within the game. So you're no longer going to have that penalization on the PS5 Pro. Before we talk about some of the advanced ray tracing and AI-driven upscaling, let's talk about some other technical specifications that have been improved. The PS5 Pro will launch with the latest wireless technology with Wi-Fi 7 support, so you can expect much faster latency on the actual Wi-Fi if you're running wireless. Now, theoretically, like Wi-Fi 6, Wi-Fi 7, whatever, you can get faster download speeds. Mostly it's the latency between the commute, like your ping. You're going to get insanely fast ping, lower latency, so it means your game and multiplayer will be much more competitive and consistent in terms of that connection on that Wi-Fi 7. And according to the PlayStation official blog, variable refresh rate and 8K gaming are also going to be supported. Many developers have enhanced the latest technology of the PS5 Pro, and there'll be several games patched completely for free at launch. And these games will be labeled PS5 Pro Enhanced, and some of the titles you'll be able to play will be Alan Wake 2, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Demon's Souls, Dragon Dogma 2, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Gran Turismo 7, Hogwarts Legacy, Horizon Forbidden West, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, The Crew Motorfest, The First Descendant, and The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, just to name a few. In the presentation, they showed some of the improvements that were coming specifically to Gran Turismo 7 with their ray tracing, where now the cars actually have got ray tracing reflections on each of the individual vehicles on the racetrack. I'm pretty sure Forza had this anyways, Forza Motorsports, correct me if I'm wrong on that. I'm swear I've seen this in another racing game, but pretty cool that that's coming to the console. On the topic of advanced ray tracing, Sony has added more powerful ray tracing capabilities with more dynamic reflections and refractions of light. This allows the rays to be cast at doubles and also triple the speed of the original PS5 console. They've also got improvements to the rendering of shadows, which was present within the demonstration of Hogwarts Legacy. I'm pretty excited to check this out, to be honest, because I play Hogwarts Legacy predominantly on my PS5. Just love it with the adaptive controller. Makes all the wizardry feel super cool. So I'll be interested to see the improvement in the ray tracing on this game, because it's a very beautiful game already. And of course, the much more detailed shadow rendering. All of this comes back to that 40% faster rendering speed on that upgraded GPU. And then also there's the AI-driven upscaling. A new technology called PSSR, which stands for PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution. This is an AI-driven upscaling that uses machine learning to provide super sharp image clarity by adding additional detail. Essentially, this is a new way for them to upscale current rendering. I think it's kind of like their version of NVIDIA DLSS, just to sort of summarize it. Everyone knows what that is. So essentially, it's their AI upscaling. So it might potentially render at a lower resolution, then they're going to upscale it with the PSSR, so you can get higher FPS whilst also rendering things at quite a nice level. That's my assumption of what this feature is going to be. Pretty nice to see. Now let's talk about a few bad things regarding the PS5 Pro, and that's specifically the pricing. This thing's extortionate. It's going to be £700 or $700 at launch. We've been screwed over in the UK. If you're UK like me, usually $700 is about, I'd like to say, £580 to £600. But no, we've got to spend the equivalent to probably like $850 on this console with the currency conversion right here. And this does not include any accessories from the stand. The vertical stand sold separately. They had the cheek to sell the stand separately on the advert and everything. And also, it doesn't have a disc drive for that price. This is a digital-only console, so you will have to purchase that 4K Blu-ray disc drive as an additional extra, just like we've seen with the PS5 Slim. I personally purchased a PS5 Slim with the disc drive back at Christmas. I haven't really used the disc drive that much, so most people probably aren't going to be too bothered. But I think with a disc drive, it was like £120 off the top of my head, if I remember correctly. It might be slightly wrong on that pricing now, since a few years later on launch. So if you want the whole package of a disc edition PS5 Pro, you're going to be looking like almost £850 if you also throw in the vertical stand in that as well, which I think is maybe just a little bit too expensive for a console, in my personal opinion. I'm getting PS3 vibes here, guys. When the PS3 came out with the Blu-ray drive, and it was just way too expensive compared to like an Xbox 360, and it just didn't really shift as many units as it could have. I'm feeling a similar thing here with the PS5 Pro. I just feel like in the current market and the current state of the world, with finances and everything, it's pretty pricey, a console, to be honest. And is the performance increase really worth it? Like, we should be getting 4K 60 FPS anyways from a standard PS5. You shouldn't have to upgrade it mid-gen to get 4K 60 FPS. They should be promising 4K 120 as a minimum on the PS5 Pro. All the examples in the press note were 4K 60 FPS. So like, as you can see, this game now achieves 4K 60 FPS. This game now achieves 4K 60 FPS in Fidelity Mode. Well, it should at least be hitting 4K 120, which is the whole point of a next-gen console and having one of these dead expensive HDMI 2.1 TVs. That's the only thing that just doesn't seem bob on, if that makes sense. Now, in the keynote, they didn't mention anything about 8K gaming. On the website, they do. They've talked about 8K gaming on the website, but the fact they didn't talk about it too much in that press note really don't give me too much confidence, as in like that it's going to be that groundbreaking. I do have an 8K TV in the other studio, so I'll try it out when it comes out at launch. So be sure to subscribe for that and make sure you check out that video when it comes out, because we've got the brand new Xboxes just to arrive in October that we're going to be taking a look at, and this brand new PS5 Pro, which we'll be taking a look at in November. And this transitions us perfectly onto when does this console actually come out. So it will be launching on the 7th of November 2024 later this year, and pre-orders will start on the 26th of September. All units will ship with a 2TB internal SSD, which is a bump up from the base storage of the fat PS5 and PS5 Pro, almost double, which is great to see. So that's everything that you need to know about the PlayStation 5 Pro. Let me know if you're going to purchase one in the comment section down below. I personally wouldn't purchase one. Like, it's too expensive. I will get one for this channel because we cover everything, so it gives us some fresh content. We can compare it to gaming PCs, etc., see what it can actually do at 8K gaming. So I will get my hands on one, but if I was a consumer, I wouldn't buy one. It's just almost 800 quid, mate, with the disc drive, everything. Way too much money. But if you are in the market for a brand new PS5, or you've just purchased one, you should check out this video next, where I break down some of the best tips and tricks to help you get the most out of your new console, get it set up correctly. But as always, I've been Ben Rowlands. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.